Hello booktube, hello book friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel and another video. This is I think this is the second bonus video I've done in the last couple of days. I wasn't planning on doing another video till later in the week, but this is a tag video. It's the Valentine's book tag video. And as Valentine's Day is on Friday, I thought I'd put it out early, just so that if anybody wants to have a go themselves, they've got a few days to do so. There should be a tag video out tomorrow that I recorded over the weekend. So yeah, it's all a bit mixed up and muddled this week, but hey ho, that's how it goes sometimes. But yeah, I wanted to do this as soon as I could. So this is the original set of prompts was created by Joe Reed's Books, whose channel doesn't seem to be active at the moment, but it may just be on hiatus or whatever. But I was tagged by Pat at Book Chat with Pat. So thank you, Pat. I accept your tag. Pat gave a couple of choices of options for the prompts. So I'm going with the Valentine's Day tag set of prompts. Some of my answers might be a little bit unconventional, but we'll get to those. We'll see. Anyway, so yeah, as I say, this one is 6 prompts, so probably won't take all that long. So prompt number 1, favourite couple ever. You want to have their relationship. Okay, here we go. Unconventional choice number 1. This is probably the first time that you can actually see there's quite a few books here, which will become, the reason for that will become plain soon. Normally they're kind of just down here and you can't see, but there's, yeah. How many is there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 13 on my Kindle because one of the books is on that. So yeah, anyway, so favourite couple ever. You want to have their relationship. I know it's Valentine's Day, but it doesn't say that this has to be a loving couple. Although I would say if you asked either of the two characters who I'm about to pick whether they loved the other, they would probably say yes. Although you might have to either get them drunk or catch them at a seriously off-guard moment. I'm going for Spencer and Hawke from the Robert B. Parker series of Spencer novels. So if you don't know, Spencer is a Boston private detective, former cop, former soldier, and he is now a private detective working in Boston. Hawke is his kind of, I suppose you would say, sidekick, but basically Hawke is a hired gun or hired thug, depending on what's needed. But the two have a very close relationship that through the course of the books becomes much closer than it starts out. And initially they're kind of more acquaintances, but as the books progress, they do become very close friends, and that is a relationship. So to have a close friendship like that is would be something that I would want to have. So, and I've picked Small Vices because this is a book where Spencer gets seriously injured, and part of the story is Hawke helping with his rehabilitation and so on. I should also say that Spencer is in a straight heterosexual relationship with a lady called Susan Silverman, who is a psychologist stroke psychotherapist. And again, I would also, that's the sort of relationship that, I would aim for, and hope I have with my wife, if that makes sense. So yeah, so there is a logic to picking this book, even if it is a slightly unconventional choice. So that's prompt number one. Prompt number two: relationship that never happened. You wanted them to get together, but they never did. I've picked a relatively recent read, and you can, if you've watched my channel recently, you'll know what this book is. This is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. I'm picking Edmond Dantes and Mercedes. So for those of you who don't know, Edmond Dantes is the titular Count of Monte Cristo, or becomes the titular Count of Monte Cristo. But he is arrested on the eve of his wedding. So sort of the kind of pre-wedding feast to Mercedes, who is going to be his wife, and then jailed. So will they get together? Well, you'll have to read all 1,462 pages to find out, won't you? But yeah, did they? Answers in the question, perhaps. Okay, worst relationship. A couple you wanted to break up because the character was awful, deceitful, abusive, etc. This is my unconventional choice, number two. This is a relationship that is, well, basically one half of the partners in the relationship, is possessed. So you kind of don't want them to stay together, really, or you want the possession to be dealt with, exercised. But why is this an unconventional choice? Well, because the possessed part of the relationship is a 1958 Plymouth Fury, and I've picked Stephen King's Christine. Christine being the 58 Plymouth Fury. Basically, the relationship here is between the car and its new owner. I've forgotten his name. Does it say on the back? No, it doesn't. That's a bit bad. Anyway, it's between the two of them, and how Christine manipulates him with the sort of help of the kind of supernatural demonic possession, or whatever you want to call it, and gets him to do all sorts of things that he wouldn't otherwise do. And yeah, it sounds really stupid. It's probably one of Stephen King's best known novels, alongside things like Salem's Lot and It. Excuse me. But yeah, so that was my choice for worst relationship, was Christine. Your favourite love triangle. Now here we go. This is going to either work well or very badly. I am going for the love triangle between Bernard Sampson, Fiona Sampson, his wife, and Bernard's becomes Bernard's lover when Fiona betrays him. And it's told over, I need to be really careful, I'm going to drop these, A Trilogy of Trilogies by Len Dayton. So it's the Game Set Match trilogy, the Hook, Line and Sinker trilogy, and the Faith, Hope and Charity trilogy. So you get everything from good relationship betrayal through to the creation of the triangle, to the kind of resolution, but it is told over 9 books, although obviously this is a spy series, so it's not quite all about the relationship. But yeah, that's who I'm going for. My favourite love triangle was between the three of them. It's just to say it never worked out the way I hoped it would, but it's a cracking series of books. So if you like spy thrillers, particularly Cold War spy thrillers, which these are, then yeah, I'd recommend reading these. And you can find out what happens between Bernard, Fiona, and Gloria. So I need to be careful now. I'm going to send books flying everywhere. So, your favourite tragic love story, like Romeo and Juliet, a couple whose relationship was cut tragically short. I am currently reading Sharpe's Command by Bernard Cornwell. And so I'm picking Richard Sharpe from the titular character, and his first wife, Teresa. Their relationship is tragically cut short, without going into any details. But this is the final book published in the series. But I've been reading the series chronologically, but this is the one exception because it was published a couple of years ago, and it slots back into the chronology much earlier than the previous book, if that makes sense. So it's not. This is the one book I haven't read chronologically, but it does feature Sharpe and Teresa, and Teresa makes much more of an appearance in the story than perhaps she does in other books. So it's quite nice from that perspective. So you get to understand more of their relationship. As a result, it's I haven't finished it yet, but it's a cracking read. But yeah, so if you read the stories chronologically, there there is their relationship doesn't last basically. But this book, she is they are still married, and together for much of the story, or much of the story so far. I'm not quite sure where it fits in the chronology. I need to work that out. But yeah, so that's my favourite tragic love story. If you've ever seen the series on TV, you'll know what happens. And similarly, if you've ever read books, you will too. But yeah. So final question: what book would you choose to be your Valentine? Well, depending on how I get on this week, I'm probably not going to be reading a book on Valentine's Day, to be perfectly frank. I think we'll be, spending time with my wife, and probably won't be going out for a meal, but we'll probably be having something nice at home, and so on. But yeah, otherwise, as I've got to pick a book for the answer, I'm picking another Alexander Dumas. This is 20 Years After, which is the sequel to, or one of the sequels to, The Three Musketeers. So this is a relatively recent acquisition. If I finish everything else I plan to read this week before Friday, I'm planning to start this next. So I've got book I spoke about yesterday, Sandwich to read after I've finished Sharpe's Command. And I'm still working my way through a book of Sherlock Holmes short stories. Then Sandwich is theoretically up next, and then this. But I might still be reading Sandwich on Valentine's Day, depending on how I get on. So yeah, my plan is to catch up with the Three Musketeers and what happens next. So there you go. I'm not going to specifically tag anyone, but if you're watching this video and you want to have a go, please feel tagged. And if you have been, thank you for watching, and I will speak to you again soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.